Good day, my name is Alexander, and I want to give this introduction on First Alliance platform. I want to talk about who am I, what is my interest. First Alliance is a platform for uniting people around an image of a bright future, working together to make this image a reality, and of course, making ourselves better along the way. In this presentation, I want to talk about the current moment, current state of the society, current state of the individual and collective consciousness. Talk about who are we, where are we now, what is the state of our consciousness, what are our thoughts and emotions, what are our archetypes and patterns of behavior, where are we now, what is the state of society. Where do we find ourselves? What is the current state of society? What relationships we have? Government, commercial, non-commercial organizations, family structures. How do we interact? How do we behave? What are the relationships? Next thing I want to talk about desired state of the society, desired state of the individual and collective consciousness. Answering questions: who do we want to be? Where do we want to be? What traits and characters we want to develop? How do we see our spiritual evolution and spiritual development? What's the end goal? What's the end state? What is the perfect society? How perfect society should look like? How do we see a relationship within it? As government, commercial organizations, families, communities, different nations, religions, belief systems, how they all should work together. And the last thing will be how are we going to move. So we know the current state, the desired state, and a very interesting question: how are we going to move? Because what are the exact steps from day one to day 1,000, 10,000, something? Don't know how many years this will take, this transformation. What any person can do, just step one, step two, step three. It's very practical. We'll start a community. Shall we start talking to our neighbors? Shall we start what should we do in our family? How do we start building the community up to the society? What are the practical steps? What are our talents? Art. Maybe it's art, maybe it's drawing, pictures. How can we start using it together? How can we make sure that it brings the image of the future? But how do we balance the current situation? How do we balance the two states of consciousness that we are now, and that's a different one in the future? How do we work through this transition? If you share the same vision, there will be an offer to join forces, to join our team at the end. Join our team of good people building a better world together. Let me introduce myself. My name is Alexander. When I was 23, I felt that our reality was twisted and deeply troubled. Felt something is really wrong with that. Nothing made sense what I learned. I felt there is something behind. Whatever we see, there is something behind, and something evil is behind it. And it's not working in our interest. Then it set me on the path, personal truth-seeking quest. So I wanted to figure out what's going on. I've been searching for truth about myself and the world, good and evil, for a long time. It was difficult in the beginning, and not many people could understand and relate to what I'm doing. Back those days, 20 years ago, there were not many people to talk to about it. Luckily, there was internet. With internet, slowly started figuring out what's really going on. Over the course of 70 years, I have researched ancient history of religions, Abrahamic, Vedic, Buddhism, multiple spiritual teachings and practices. So that all along, that I studied all along with politics and ethics, mythology, psychology, health and wellness topics. Yeah, many things to cover. And every subject, every industry or sphere you touch over the time, you realize there's something wrong there. The healthcare system is not looking after health. Education is not actually giving you enough education and information to be happy in your life. The politics, you figure out politicians are not truthful to you and you cannot trust them. They want you to trust them, but you cannot trust them. Everything you touch, go to religion, belief system, you want to know something about God, but it's hard to find some really good instruments, some good insights, good information you can relate to that makes you stronger and makes you happier. It's hard to find what you want to find, hard to find truth. But all the time, the good thing about it, you figure out how to recognize the lies. And more lies you see, the easier for you to go through that lies. So I developed that skills over many years. Right, and I should say it was really painful, especially in the beginning, especially when you don't have people around you. So once I got enough information, I realized we need to do something together. You can't do change something on your own. You can see many examples people trying to change something, politics, military, even science, in healthcare, even art. People get killed. Yeah, it's a serious business. Once you change the world, it's dangerous and risky. And individuals, we can see it's very hard for them to change something. We need to build groups, and that's what I realized. And I volunteered for about 3 years in one spiritual group as a United Kingdom coordinator, and then I became an international coordinator around the years 2015 to the year 2018. Over 3 years, I spent, after doing my job and looking after family, I spent volunteering, trying to organizing people and giving some sense of direction and basically getting online and offline people together so they can figure out how they can interact, communicate, what teams they can build, and how they can help each other at, to start, and how they can help other people, humanity at the end. That was the goal. So this is a large spiritual group nowadays. They count 100,000 members, something I'm not sure because I left 5 years ago. Initially, I created a structure for groups of people to operate and interact. So I met very bright and wonderful people who are able to see the truth or part of it, to see through the lies. Uh, Many were doing spiritual, many were developing themselves spiritually. So it's doing two things at the same time. And yeah, I can say quite many people had some troubles with that because that path is difficult. The system doesn't want you to go that path. And every brave person who decided to go that way, he experienced some difficulties. Right. So that's about myself. Once I spent some time as international coordinator, to realize I need to formulate my own vision. How do I see the group operating? What should be the values? What is the direction? What are the approaches? How the design set should look like? So it took 2, 3 years off to think about it. And now I'm ready to present my concept so people can read through my vision and to see if they share it, so that people can join the team, can join the forces, so they can do something together and achieve better results, support each other. I've done basic definition, but it's all open for the interaction, the manifesto, the vision, the ways of working, the current situation. So that I explained bits about myself and explains my some experience. Why do I think I qualify to lead in a group like this? and clarified why I want to join forces with other members to be effective. Basically, you cannot change the world alone. We need a really good team. We need to support each other. All right, before I jump to complex subjects, I want to briefly say what are the core values, because it will be clear what sort kind of organization is this, what kind of platform is this. Core values are we stand for patriotism, union of friendly nations and ethno states. So the brief description would be yes, we know we have globalist types of countries now where people are mixed from different backgrounds, nationalities. Don't think it works best, but if that's people's choice, that's their choice. I mean, some people like it, you can have states like that. But I also know many people do not like this immigration, do not like the destruction of the original traditional society, communities. They don't want the way the communities they change. So they want to keep the ethno state, we call it, yes, single culture state. Yeah, it's usually related to the same as nation. Uh, English, Welsh, Russian, Indian, French, German. So ethno states means ethno, ethnic nations. Once the key point is really people should come and decide how they want to be. They want single ethnicity state, or the two ethnicity states which are very close. Let's someone say it, India, Pakistan, Ukraine, Russia. They can decide that that's actually the same, the very close genetics, very similar ethnicities. Let's just do a single state with both ethnicities in it. Yeah, and there's people perception, so they come together and vote. Also, important part to say that about immigration is usually these are not happy people that moving from one country to another. They are forced economically, or there is a war conflict. They're really in miserable situation. They have to move because someone destroyed the original country. That it's not good for living. It's dangerous. It's risky. There's no food. Or you can die. There is war conflict. It's terrible circumstances. Most of these people they're really happy to come back and to live in the original country with their own people. So no way consider these people evil. So the Setna states work for them well as well. So the just original place of their birth, their country, they should be rebuilt, should be financially stable, and should offer them to welcome them back to their home, to their motherland and fatherland. People should be able to decide which state they have, because now they're not allowed to decide at the moment. So we stand for patriotism, ethno states, and union of friendly nations. Means every nation that decided this should be able to make good relationships with its friends, establish honest, open relationships, and finally we should all come together to peace. Right? The union of religion and belief systems means because we we have radicals in every religion. There are times when some radical groups takes over, and in the name of God, it sends people to kill other people in thousands and sometimes millions. Yeah, that's wrong. So this is abuse of any religion. We believe the religion should be able. People follow different religion. They share a lot of values, like how they want to treat people. They're able to live in peace with each other. They should not be killing each other, and that's our core value. That all religions can live in peace, and all people following belief systems can live in peace if there is if that belief system or religion respect other people. So if they have respect, there is definitely a way they can live together. If they do not respect, then this religion and belief system does not belong to the platform. Yes. So if they're evil, if they want to be parasites and they want to attack and destroy someone, their neighbors, no, they do not belong to this union. Talking about union of friendly nations, a world of friends, right? Concept. We support human values. We support human rights, traditional communities, ethnic societies, kinship, traditional family values, as well as individual well-being. So when we say human rights, we hear a lot about human rights, but we do not see that implemented. Human rights are one by one removed from people. So we support true human rights, people able to execute their spirit, their internal world. They should be able to communicate and express themselves freely. That's what human rights are about. As long as you respect others, as long as you respect others who respect you, because you should not respect people who do not respect you. So once you have this mutual respect in this context, you should express yourself freely. This we call human rights. Traditional communities is about traditional is more close to natural state of things, how things were 100 to 100 years ago. People were, they really know what makes them happy and should be able to follow that. And when legal system comes against it, restricting then this and that, so that's wrong. We think traditional communities should be able to openly live and express themselves. Ethnic societies, again, if ethnicity wants to live at home, so like every person has a home. We have a home of, like you have a home, and a family usually has a home. And it's about having these boundaries of a home. So every nation also should have a home and land and a home. If they want to live alone, that's their right. People like in Africa want to live alone. If people in America just want to live like American society, American take any city like Christian society. And if they want just American people there, from European descent, that's their choice. That's a basic human right to live in community and society of your choice. Basically, it's for people to come and agree. And I'm sure there are many people who just want to live like Germans in Germany, and Germans want to live in German world. French wants. There are some French people who wants to live in French world, and here it goes for every nation. There is a group of nations who want to live just speak the same language and to live in the land with the people they can understand and they have long traditions and the values they share through the centuries. I think that's really strength, and that's the core entity of a social life here after community. It's a large scale entity. Kinship, we support not just fa- traditional families with their values as important institute of development, personal and social, but also kinship means all the families, all the cousins, all the like grandmother and grandfather, they have kids, and they have many kids and they have many grandchildren. They should all like stick together and should support each other if they have the same blood. So people should look wider to extended families and to unite extended families because they should have so much in common. They have the same generation coming up. Have the same ancestors. Should have the same traditions. And we should stick together and protect each other and support each other and be really close. Yeah, and the best way to really even live close to each other. Right, that's the core values. And individual well-being, as many said, is like everyone should be comfortable, be able to develop spiritually, physically, express themselves, and the talents they have, do for society what they feel is like they're really good at, what makes them happy, the things what they love, writing books, driving a car, building furniture, someone working as a military or in the police, and anything. We have different things that make us happy. We have different talents, and everyone should find a place in society as individual. But another core value is talking about light forces to win over the darkness, because that's what happened. What happens this conflict we see it. We must join light forces, and we must understand the lies of darkness and the forces of darkness, and come against them. Right, next thing I want to talk about is the profile of me- a member, of a person who would consider reasonable to join First Alliance platform. Yes. What's the profile of that person? Who can be interested? Because it's not for everyone. Yes. Who can be interested? Those who can see cruelty and suffering of the people around and can't ignore it. We know many people ignore it for many reasons. Yes, but those who cannot ignore it, they want to solve it. Those are the ones who to solve it. So these people are welcome. And those people who think not just for themselves, but for all people, or for their nation, or maybe for the whole world, for people of all nations, or for all people, like in their family at least, or for all people in the city, for those who want happiness for their people, basically, whose consciousness feels responsible. So I want people around me to be happy as well. The next important thing is those who believe we can only solve the issues together on a higher scale social level. Right? What we see, people people trying to solve issues locally. Yeah, that's fine. It's understandable, but to really solve the problem, to really fix the roof that is leaking, we need to fix the roof that is leaking. Like, we cannot fix a problem by collecting the water that is produced by the broken roof. So we need to fix the roof. Those who want to fix the roof are welcome. Yeah, because it's a bigger task. It's a long-term task. But that's what we're here to do. Next thing, any person or group who wants to build a friendly world. Yeah, next thing. Someone who has time and energy on a weekly basis to spend on making this world a better place. Next thing, who is a leader or is willing to be led, who is willing to follow leaders, right? Because not everyone is a leader. Definitely welcome leaders. Some can be lead in one space, but be a follower in another space, and vice versa. That's natural, that's fine. But we definitely want leaders who can show the example and lead other people to do something together. You need to establish a structure. Someone should produce tasks, and someone should be doing those tasks. I mean, there should be mutual agreement before on the vision, and then it all works naturally. But still, people find it difficult to follow someone. Yeah, they they cannot be really part of a team. Yeah, if you find it difficult to follow. So we wishing around people to grow to that point, and all those who leaders or capable of following leaders, yeah, welcome to join. Another thing is those who can take risks and those who are eager to support these brave people. Again, changing this world for the better, changing this evil world for the better, is a big task, and it's very dangerous, a risky task. We know many politicians died, people in police and military died, even artists and scientists, they do die. Doctors that follow natural ways of healing, they also get killed. We have many bright people in all the industries and spheres. They risk their lives sometimes not knowing that those who put their head above the parapet, they really take risk. And we need these people, because if you're scared and you cannot move, but it's understandable. I mean, we all go through these stages. And if you're on the stage that you cannot take a risk yourself, but you may be on a step where you can support those who can take risks. And let's say we need a politician, the brave who tells what he thinks, what the people thinks, and he steps up and he tries to influence, let's say, local politics to stand. Then what happens? If he gets killed, he has a family and his duties. Who's going to help him? So we need people following, people supporting him, and they say, "Wait, yes, you're taking risk, and if something happens, we will support your family for all your life." I know it's a difficult commitment, but that's how this network should operate. The platform. That's how you encourage people taking risk actually to do something, because otherwise they think, well, okay, I'm on my own, I take a risk and then I die, and then my family is in trouble. It's very difficult to take a step there. So we need people also supporting these brave people who take risks, right? It's brave and supporting. And last thing, last not but not least, is those who are open to evolve and learn. What that means. Um, Guilty myself that also in my early days I thought we need to change the world, act externally, do something with someone, convince someone, change the structures we have, like change the government operates, but then not thinking about yourself. But if you really want, we don't usually realize how much we're part of this world. So we're part of this world a lot, and we inherited some behaviors that not treating others really well, and we can't just change it in one day. Basically, yes, we had it, inherited it from our parents and society. Now we produce it, like we follow the same patterns, and we do some cause some troubles for people around us. So we need to evolve and learn and change our consciousness ourselves. We cannot just change this world by make it acting externally. We also must change internally, and that's also like some people find difficult. Is painful, yes, because you need to get into trauma. There's some psychological techniques. You need to get to trauma, and to change your behavior pattern is usually you need to go through pain, to go within yourself, within your own pain. So to stop causing pain to others, you need to go internally into your own pain and fix the source of that pain. So then you'll stop hurting others. But to do that, you go through pain and you fix it in yourself. Right, that's one example. And we also keep learning, because there is a lot of information around us. We need to keep learning. I'm going to talk about the concept. So we have a platform of people. For us to have a platform for people to unite, we should define the values wider, on a broader scale. We need to agree on many things so that people can unite. You need to unite them around something. And that is something is a concept I want to present. So there are two parts. Current moment, who are we now? Where are we now? We need to agree on this. Who are we? It's the state of our consciousness. And we agree on a history in the current moment. Where are we now is social aspect. It's like, what is the society we live in? Is it good or bad? What things we agree or disagree, we like or do not like? We want to change and want to keep as is. We need to agree on it. More agree in spirit, not in all the details is impossible, but agree in spirit. The next thing is, who do we want to be? Yes, as I said, we are also part of this world and we inherited the bad traits and bad habits about it and how we treat ourselves and how we treat others. There is something we do not like in ourselves. And what is that we do not like? What we want to improve? What relationship we want to change? How we want to behave in a different way. So we need to define it. Also, we need to agree it's a future state. Where do we want to be? How our society should look like? What can we do? What we like to do? What we want to see around us? What relationships? Do we want money? Or we want world without money? How do we elect politicians? What art do we produce? Do we want to live in big cities or small villages? All these things. Where do we want to be? Maybe we want to fly to another planet. Or maybe someone believes there are no other planets. Right? So once we agree on those two things, current state and the desired state, we're now in a place. We need to agree on transition. How are we going to move? So what are the steps? So how do we get from point A to point B? How do we transform ourselves? How are we going to transit the society from one state to another? Yeah, we want to define steps and agree how we're going to move. Yeah, on the protocol. We're going to get the leaders we trust, get the belief system that makes us happy, get relationships and families and communities that we feel a part of and we can really relate to. How do we do that? Step by step. Right. The first question we're going to answer, clarify is the current state. Where are we now? This where are we now box. Where are we today? Also, I believe we are in the beginning of light forces rebellion against the army of darkness. Definitely see some signs that good forces are getting ground. Can see through the lie. More and more people can see through the lies. More and more people do not trust their governments. More and more people see the evil part of their government and the world around it. And even it's pay from the beginning. People to learn to how to counteract, how to fight back, learn the spiritual foundation of the power of intentions, power of thoughts and emotions. How do we change our world? Start listening to intuition. Where are we today? Every religion, belief system, a government, political party, movement, any business or organization, family and person is influenced by both good and evil. Evil forces are clever enough and have been successful in dividing and conquering so far. Everyone knows that principle. Divide and conquer. Where the galactic night, it's according to Vedic scriptures, is Kali Yuga, called galactic night, when everything is divided and isolated. And people even struggle to get their personality together. To, there's a conflict between conscious feeling of right and the gut feeling and the logical mind that's been programmed, ego to just seek programmed to seek the personal profit from everything and disregard all the people around, ego. Yeah, there's conflict between conscious and ego. Where the galactic, we believe that at the end of Kali Yuga is a Vedic period of time, which is many thousand years, negative cycle where all creation and all the life forms suffer. Yeah, we have a lot of suffering now. What else is important? What's what is the society we live in? Where I believe we're in an advanced slavery system working through evil people and spirit entities who rule against normal people, all the good people. Then Yeah, difficult positions. There we are in difficult position. Yeah, it's advanced slavery. We do not see it. Some people still do not see the slavery system. Some do see. We have some freedoms, but we do not have real freedoms. We do not have real freedom. That's a problem. So evil works through spiritual institutions, different religions, teachings, sects, satanic orders, that spiritual level. 'Cause that's where it starts. The, the mess with evil people, evil hierarchy messes with the head, with someone's head. It's the thoughts and emotions. They're affected. They're programmed. People think they're doing good, they're doing bad. So the twisted concept, good and evil is twisted. Good is told to be evil, and evil is told to be good. What else is affected? So I believe every spiritual organization, every religion, every church, institution, they're also fight. There are good people and consciousness of good, and there's evil consciousness and conscious evil people. Like there is a clash and there is a fight within. There's nothing perfect. What else? What are the mechanisms? Secret services. So evil is working is through secret services, secret societies, money control. Yeah, whoever is controlled money, whoever prints money, that controls the social life. Government is also there are good and bad people within. Police, the military. There's always part of the control by evil, part is controlled by good. Many people trust their government still. It's too it's too grand scare. It's too grand conspiracy for people to believe their government is actually the slave master. It's understandably. It's like telling people their parents are really bad. No one wants to believe it. It's too hard. It's traumatic. There's a lot of fear around there. To cross that line, there is a lot of fear. How else evil is working? Evil is working through mind control, biological warfare, collective consciousness programming, through cultural, electromagnetic, energetic, three major directions to affect collective consciousness is education, indoctrination, social context, institutions like schools, universities, the jobs, and the money system. Cultural is also religious, is false religious beliefs, false beliefs about yourself and about the world that do not empower you, make you weak. Now there's the electromagnetic influence. Yeah, that's advanced mechanism. And energetic is everything related to magic and symbols. There's also advanced topic. Do not want to cover it here, right? And we have advanced slavery institutions, greedy businesses, black markets. Yes, a lot of things happen we do not know. Yeah, children's orphans, organs, human organs. There is a market. There is a traffic for narco traffic, drug drugs, slavery market. Yeah, humans still sold as slaves. We just do not see it on TV. So it's hidden to give us a sense of freedom, which is not true. It's illusion. Evil forces to keep this illusion that everything is more or less fine. It's just a couple of bad people here, bad people there, to keep people blindfolded so they do not see the problem, they do not act on that problem. Thus, it's advanced slavery institution. It's not direct slavery. That is advanced slavery. It's like you have all the freedom, but you cannot live without money. So you need to go to people who have the money to do not what you think is right, but what they can pay you money for. Right? To follow the instructions, or join the, pay the taxes, and that's and if you try, and there is no another option really. You need to people who hold the money, who can print money. That's how they control people. That's advanced. Again, it's sort of a choice. You can go to the forest. Very few people do. So you have to join the social life with the money system. And slowly, slowly, like the higher you want to get on this money system, the more difficult it is for you to be a decent person. Yes, the more you get involved into like businesses, yeah, they operate on profit. If you don't operate on profit, yes, you if you just want to make something good for people, you need to consider all this economical part as well. It's difficult to have businesses, yes, and even all the good people they say it's difficult to find balance between keeping your business, running your business, and having it, and be just honest and transparent and produce social value because you have counter agents, you have people buy services, you have the people to sell services to, and if you don't like them, you think they're not ethical. If you do not buy or do not sell, you can lose your business. You have to buy and sell because you have competitors, and they do that. You do not want to lose the market. If you have competitors, your competitors doing some bad things, unethical things, and they're saving money, and they can provide the same product cheaper. If you do not do that, you lose your business. You can't just refuse them. You have to follow all the rules and regulations. Now, this is a situation where are we today? The whole environment, when we live in, when it's ruled by, when it's designed for evil to prosper and for good, honest people to struggle, it's hard to be a good, decent person. And the more like evil you do, the more money you get. And of course, many people do not have money, cannot earn enough money, having a decent activity. There are a lot of homeless people, prostitution, people like doing crimes to get money. The system is designed for that. It's advanced slavery. We call these evil people globalists for simplicity. Their influence is huge, with every institution being affected and many are ruled by them mostly. These are the forces of darkness, and they are real. You can find a lot on the internet nowadays, and you can really get a feel of what's happening behind the doors. And light forces are slowly gaining power. When at the beginning it is still quite difficult. That's where are we today. With the light enforced covertly and directly, the dark hierarchy follows its agenda of transforming consciousness of good people into evil, working to establish a stronger slavery system all the time. Yeah, there are multiple levels. There is step after step after step how people are turned from symbiotic consciousness into parasitic or predator consciousness. Step by step, there is pressure. There is always pressure for people to change and retreat and lose one area after another and lose and lose and lose and lose. So they contract their consciousness to basically evil consciousness. It's a slow transformation. People fall into it. It's like do or die because it's very tricky system basically. And we need to see it and we need to understand it. It's always like a question. If you think about yourself or you think about your people around you. There shouldn't be like a major conflict like that, but without a money system and the system of scarcity, because we have with money system is also decided there are not enough money for everyone. There is no abundance. Resources are limited, and with this limited resources concept, there's always a question: is it me or someone else? Do I do something good for them and lose? Is it win-lose? It's not win-win. It's usually win-lose relationships. Either I win, someone else loses, or I lose and someone else wins. It's very difficult to keep that, to treat other people well. Good day. It's another day of my recording. It's about where are we today, part two. Talk about history, about golden age, the past, when all the aspects were in harmony. When I studied ancient civilizations, piece by piece, I rebuilt this image in my head how best society used to look. And we can find parts that it existed one day, sometime in the past, before the evil forces came and conquered this our planet, our world, the part of the world that we know. Yes, it's important to know how it was before. We talk about nowadays how this is broken, so I wanted always to understand how it should look and how it looked some time ago. Good and evil, how it used to be. These aspects were in balance, and what it means in balance, to my knowledge, evil still were there, or what we perceive as evil, but it was not harmful. It always worked for good. How is that possible? How can you imagine that? How can evil work for good? To give you example is human society is big and it consists of many people. At the same as human body is huge and consists of many cells. And if there is a cell in a human body that misbehaves, it does harm to other cells, doesn't perform its function, then the, the brain system it takes action. So it gets analyzes behavior of the cell and tries to fix it. So if cell is not doing function, the brain decides to reduce resources for that cell because it's not doing the function. There's no reason to spend resources, so it limits resources. And also another way of influencing the cell is send another command, because through nerves, brain can send different commands to the cell. Maybe it can fix it. Maybe it can figure out what's went wrong and send some nutrition. So don't know exactly. But to try to fix a cell, and if a cell cannot be fixed, then then the brain contacts immunity cell, and immunity cells come and get rid of this cell. So if that's a cancer cell, then immunity comes and removes the cell from the body. And then by that cell who has cancer is perceived evil, can be perceived as evil, but really it's good for society and for good for the body. The same with people. If some people misbehave, some do something wrong, then collective consciousness analyze the situation and apply some pressure on that person through society or through his consciousness, through conscious. Say like you do something wrong, like the person start getting some signs from universe, how they call it, that he's doing something wrong. He should change the behavior. There's a little bit of pressure beginning, then more pressure. Person may get sick, get a disease, hurt himself a bit, may lose something important in their life to make them think. So that's what how evil, perceived evil, work for that individual, but actually that pressure that is applied that can be perceived as evil is not evil at all. It's for the good of that person, for that individual and for the good for the society. Yeah, so that was in balance. All the evil that was there was to make people better, right? It's an important subject. The next level is collective consciousness. So it was one win-win relationship. People didn't worry about many troubles we have now. People knew they just you do your function, you have your talents, you do what you love, you provide for the society what you can, and society gives you back all you need. And that naturally you should have the best place possible in society because everything is wired so well that it was not questionable that you'll find your place in society and you'll be happy. There was a road for everyone's happiness. Mythology and fairy tales, they were showing good examples of people how they should behave, who they should be. No horrible horror stories or horror tales, fairy tales, with kids alone in some troublesome place where they can should take tough decisions without parents. No, the other should I'm sure it had nice images for the person finding for the individual the ways to find the place in society and the support he can get and where he can get it and all the personal development and all the challenges how the way they should be solved. So it's external and internal ways for the person to succeed, to be successful and happy in their life. That was that what were ancient fairy tales about. Nations and races. There were different nations and races, but there was a peace and there was a respect between all of them. And they were not denying truth. Some nations were more developed in one aspect, some nations were developed in another aspect, culture, products, um, science, health, whatever. And if someone did something better, it's like older brother, other nations would come to seek help and advice from that nation. And that nation would, I suppose, happily share it because all were perceived as friends. So there was no conflict. And there was respect among nations and races, and everyone had their place and land to live and flourish. Religions and belief system, next one. It's a difficult subject, but I suppose there were different nations and races that had variations of a sort of single universal concept, natural concept of understanding the place of humanity in the world and the best forms or the natural forms of life and relationships between people, among people, and relationship with the world around them. It was based on ancestors, on their ancestral knowledge of the world. So it was past. It wasn't like developed from zero or from the state of light like we have now. It was passed through ancestors. So every person born could educate himself according to this perception of the world and the relationship to the invisible forces, to the collective consciousness, what was the interface, what was the interaction. So it was all given how universal, how the person can communicate with this universal consciousness, with collective consciousness and humanity, and how to find a place. But really, I don't know exactly how it was, and all the details I cannot provide. And it's very high level. I can say now, basically, I'm still researching that subject, and I don't have a lot of details about that. Economic means everyone was doing something for society, and everything was getting all all she needs from society back. So it was a natural process without any issues or troubles. They were spiritual leaders and power structures, like coordination that was happening naturally for everyone to take his place or her place. Healthcare, education. Yes, healthcare is focusing on healthy lifestyle. Education was based on individual profile, individual talents of the person, what part he was to take in the society, and what education he should go through. Right. Technology and science, yes, it was instant development of the tools that help save time for people and the science to research the universe, what are part of the universe, and also to expand the borders where we are, where we can travel. Uh, how the universe is functioning and operating, and what's the state of harmony with other life forms and with the consciousness around us. Art and culture, I'm sure it was beautiful and wonderful, full of masterpieces and songs and musical instrument and the pictures, architecture, sculpture. I'm sure it was full of these wonderful masterpieces that you can get a bit of feeling when you travel to India and Indonesia. So that's a different style. If you look at the temples, you can see that it was a different style and it was far more advanced than what we see. The Greek statues is another example of what the art and culture was in ancient civilization. I think it's difficult to imagine now how what it was, but it served the same purpose: human development through art. Elected and appointed powers. Obviously, all the leaders and elected powers, they were trusted by the people. They were the best of the people, the most knowledgeable, skilled, talented individuals who took the positions of power to look after their society, like fathers look after their children. There was no question or doubt of the decisions made by people in power. Community and friendships. It was a good times. It's like where people trust all their neighbors. They do not expect problem. They do not close the door. They do not lock their cars. And if something happens, you'll get all the support from the people around you. If you have a trouble, it's not your own trouble. It's trouble for all. And society will come and community will come to you and help you with whatever issue you have. So you're not alone, and you feel more like this balance between individual and social. It was really much into social, into community. So you're more part of community than you now, and you live that life together. You live your life together with other people, not alone. This connection was really strong. Now we have people developing through school, colleagues, classmates, university, detached from family somewhere else. You live and develop your relationships. Now I think it was more like before. It was more like in the countryside. We have you develop yourself in family. You have many brothers and sisters. You have cousins. Your parents, they have brothers and sisters. Their family living nearby. So they all look after each other. You have not 3 or 5 people you can trust. Your family unit, you have 50 people or maybe 500 people. That was family unit that you trust. And that variation of characters and relationships and for kids, games to play and for adults, the conversations to have and things to learn around and apply your knowledge and apply your skills was the difference. So you first develop yourself in a family, an extended family, in a kin, or like a clan. Some nations have, some ethnicities still have clans. They have elders. Hell, this is a different concept. Let's say you have grandparents and parents with a maybe grandparents were still alive and grandparents were alive, and they were like observing their big clan, huge the sons and daughters and grandchildren and grandchildren what they're doing. So they were providing environment. All the relatives were providing environment for younger family members to learn and develop their skills and knowledge. So that was a different environment, how people lived together. And the last part is individual well-being and human rights. So in the golden age, people had the best balance possible between individual and collective. Yes, individual freedoms and collective freedoms, individual responsibilities and collective responsibilities. So it's like a cell in a body has a perfect balance of individual sphere and collective sphere and collective responsibilities. The same in the perfect world and golden age, all individuals experience that perfect balance and they hold the human rights to develop their potential. So everything you can think of, what you need in this world, you can get it. If it's healthy, you can get it. If it's not healthy, you'll have people around you to explain that it's not healthy, you cannot get it. Okay, we talked about the golden age, the past when all aspects were in harmony. Based on my research, I describe how I think things worked before, what's the perfect state where we should achieve, what we can achieve, what we should aim for. It went through all the aspects. Now that times are gone now, that's perfect relationship, perfect society, perfect state of mind for every individual is broken now. And nowadays we have broken state with conflicting parts as a result of the evil forces divine and conquer actions through all the aspects, through all the levels. And now let's talk about that. So on the first layer, God and evil, what do we have? We have no love. It's hard to find. Love is hard to find. We have small pieces here and there, but it's hard to find a person who can love all the creation and is in balance, in a perfect balance. God and evil, what happened to it? So we have good as evil. All the good things people do, how they treat each other, their character, their relationships they build. Every good thing is laughed at. It's made is shown as a joke. It's like it's not it's not an example for society to follow, but it's something to laugh at and to avoid. So all the good things are seen as evil now. I mean, that's the direction. The evil forces want us to see all the good as bad. And the opposite is true as well. All the evil they do, they try to portray as good. Every bad thing they do, they try to sell it to us, to show it to us as a necessary evil. It's like, is it really good for you? Whatever evil thing we do for you is good for you. And all the deviations and all the wrong behavior, we see it all around, and they try to make it look good. And the last thing I want to say about the first layer is lies as truth. So in the golden age, everyone had access to truth based on their state of the position in society. And now it's hard to get the truth. You have lies all around, so you cannot really move. So you cannot have proper judgment. And everything, every way you look and everything you touch, is usually the first impression, the first thing you grasp that the system gives you to about that entity or entity or thing is lies. So you cannot use it. You cannot have right approach to it. You usually have mixed and confused state, mixed up and confused state. It's hard to get truth, and there's a lot of lies around. It's hard to get truthful information. What happened to collective consciousness? Sort of win-win relationships. We have negative mindset. People now focused on negative things a lot. We have collective consciousness wired for conflict. It's so easy to have conflict somewhere now. It's hard to find peace. People are not careful. They can jump too quickly to some sort of conflict with each other. It's hard to work together. Meaningless competition instead of healthy competition. Yes, when the competition destroys this, meaning that destroys the communities, it feeds egos. There is a one first place in Olympic Games, and everyone else loses. In the first place, he gets what money, prizes, and what happens to other people? Their names are lost. But all of them, they spent similar amount of efforts to get that. The historical and mythological figures are far from perfect. They commit adultery, they lie to each other, they kill each other, they do not treat their kids well. It's full of wars and conflicts. They're selfish. The ego is so big. The cruelty and fairy tales for kids are like you can make horror movies on half of them. Is half yeah they half of them are horrible. Half of them are stupid. They do not teach a good example for our kids. It's hard to find really some good example in the books for kids. These models then negatively affect the children and adults. Children through fairy tales and adults through mythology and through that we find in belief systems or religions that comes as part of religions or mythology comes as part of general cultural context. Nations and races, we have wars and conflicts for land and resources. The history of dramas and traumas, of national conflicts and hatred is very common. That should be healed. There's a long way to heal that. But instead of peace and respect, we have terrible atrocities. Many people killed and families without fathers and mothers and destroyed homes, lands, migration. Next thing, religions and belief systems. What happened in radicalism? Many religions we know they have radical branches within them. Turn people following one religion against other people who follow different religions or atheists and be ready to kill all those who do not follow that religion or some do not follow some rules. We get false teachings that do not teach people any real tools. The teaching people into illusion does not work as a tool for spiritual development. People do not become better, but they become more narrow-minded and ignorant. So that sort of builds a small box of ignorance where people puts people into there so they cannot escape. And so again, the state that people are easier can be controlled. Holy wars, it's part of radicalism, yes. When religion is used to start the wars between different nations, somehow they called holy for some reason, like to give more emphasis to get enthusiasm out of people to that the war is important. Calling them a holy war is like just not fighting for yourself or your family, you're fighting for your God. They sound different. You got various numbers of sects and even major religions. They have so many branches that contradict each other. And the sect is spiritual based human abuse, yes, because with the sect you can inject false teaching into someone. You can control those people and make them do really bad things and evil things for themselves or for others. Yeah, when someone joins a sect and when the full people joining it and get money out of them or make them sell their property and transfer their money to the sect leaders and worshiping evil, yes, directly or indirectly. Happen to economic and social. You get a lot of jobs you hate, have greedy businesses that do not think about people. The only value they think about is getting more money. And you have many businesses who, even those businesses who want to be human oriented and bring social value, they get kicked out of the industry because of other businesses that are not honest, that are greedy, that are corrupt. Because to compete with them, you need to be either be the same or leave the industry. Have jobs to harm people, produce alcohol, some simple, give simple examples, produce alcohol, cigarettes, some that produce objects for addiction, computer games, this computer industry, and modern slavery. People are still sold and bought for money. That they do prostitution. Kids have to work through in really tough conditions for food. It's very similar to slavery, but I call it modern slavery because sort of there is choice without choice. Some people can live, but some people are really caught and trapped as slaves, and they don't have access to TV, police, or any society that can save them from it. We still have many dark corners we have no idea about. Yeah, what happens to healthcare and education? Education is turned into indoctrination to keep people weak and ignorant so they can be controlled. Healthcare is busy with fixing symptoms, and so people are kept again weak and unhealthy so they can be easier controlled. And we have a lot of fake solutions like many drugs and vaccines. They have some poisons and some elements in it that cause other diseases. So if they promise you to heal one disease, but you can get another disease by using them. I'm using soft language here. Technology is science. What's interesting in technology is used to control people, and the science we have that is given green light is to restrict human potential. Whatever is to develop human potential, that science is forbidden. Art and culture. We have culture of degradation and we have art promoting ignorance. The images we have in the field of art and mass culture, entertainment, they're horrible for true spiritual development, so they're the opposite than for degradation. Elected and appointed powers we got. Have no trust in government in many places around the world. We have fake democracies with conflicting parties that they pretend they represent people, but what they do is they trick people into believing that there is a choice when there is no choice. And people join these different parties and they try to direct their anger at each other. Difficult political parties, they some people join them and concentrate too much on conflicts with other parties instead of resolving the problem. They're trying to get rid of people thinking differently. Yes, they're unable to find union with them. They're unable to find common ground and solve problems together. Instead, they're fighting with each other. That's divide and conquer. Social classes are divided, and the hate is induced to hate each other. The business people, the people who work, and oligarchs, the people with money. There is like hate induced between them. They don't see value of each other, and they think that some jobs are better than others, and some activities are better than others, which is wrong. And we have modern slave masters. It's really what we have behind the government, the political system. We have slave masters hiding themselves with a facade, with a pretend that, well, actually, it's a human government and people decide. People are responsible for all this, for these deeds of government. And the government collect taxes and they use for good. It's very rare in modern days that communities really support people, the people in trouble. You can have friends going to the pub, but it's all your friends disappear when you have a problem and you need some money or someone's attention. Kinship and family values. What happened? We had broken generational ties. Different generations don't understand each other. Yeah, it's deliberately isolated from each other. Divorces, husband and wives hard to keep the family unit. Have orphans, kids with families is terrible. With kids without families is terrible. Happened on an individual level. Where are we today? People cannot hear their soul. They're so programmed with a logical mind of what this sort of successful strategy is, what you should do and how in this life. They do not hear the intuition. And the strategies that are taught by the system, by this evil society, obviously they do not work. You cannot trust them, and people cannot hear intuition to change, to give them chance to change the world around them. Selfishness. People are taught to think about themselves, to be isolated. Too big egos. People are unable to communicate and cooperate with others. Suppressed emotions is isolation from people around you is causing suppressed emotions and lost feeling of unity, and that causes addictions to compensate for this broken link to society. And human rights are ignored. Real human rights to choose the community you want, the school you want, to say what you think, to have weapons, to protect yourself, yeah, and many, many others, they are taken from people. That's the hard truth about our situation, about the current moment. But that's an important step to learn where we are so we can fix it. So we're not in any illusion what's going on. We need to know and see through the lies. Because part of the evil hierarchy working to divide and conquer, another part is working to cover it up, to pretend it's natural state of things, that it happens just by accident and there is nothing to worry and there is a strategy for everyone to find happiness in this terrible world, and people should not be fixing this world actually. So there is a huge cover up happening so people do not see it. Yeah, but we must see it. Right, this is where are we, part 3, third slide. Is more summary of what I said before, and it's a bit different angle. Our individual consciousness has been programmed by negative collective consciousness since childhood. Right, it's a big statement. What's saying grew up through the collective consciousness and the culture, and learned relationship around us and absorbed it, and we made them part of ourselves, something we rejected to accept, something we refused, but some part of negative relationships, negative perceptions we absorbed into our life, and we treat them as part of ourselves. It's unavoidable because we're part of the world we live. Our individual consciousness has been programmed into fake self awareness and false knowledge of the world. What I want to say here is fake self awareness means we were lied into who we are. Usually, the controlled governments, controlled system want to tell us, to lie to us that we are small and weak and cannot change anything. And if we ever want to change something, it gives us wrong tools. So this is fake self-awareness. It also gives us false knowledge of the world. It's like that the world is this or that. It wants us to believe that this illusion, evil forces build a facade they build on top of their atrocities. They always try to hide their evil deeds. So that we should believe in this facade. And so that's a false knowledge of the world. So think of that's the world. But the reality is we need to be able to see through it, what's behind it, get the real knowledge. And also all the laws of physics, of the consciousness, and the true knowledge is not there. It's either lies or like the many belief systems and but some religious dogmas they want us to to catch our consciousness into false knowledge of the world, so we can never have the true knowledge that will empower us to do the change we want. And it is hard for us to move into the right direction, and it is hard to be the best version of ourselves. So that's consequence. So, because we should, to be able for us to move into the right direction, we should challenge everything. We should question everything. And it's very hard process. It's like for you to do something, you need to stand on something. It's natural to have platform, foundation, some basic belief system, but we should challenge itself before we have it. Yes, a difficult process, and that's why it's hard. But it is possible. This job we can do that. Just saying it's hard, and we need to admit it. And to be the best version of ourselves is is also hard because even we know over time as adults what it is, who we want to be, many find that actually to do the change within, internal change, actually takes years. And because the psychology works like that through our childhood our brain is formed and our personality is created, and it's more like a tree. And if it's have this form, you cannot just turn it into another form because like it's alive and it's got its logic of development. You cannot just break it and make a new one. No, you can just change some parameters, but you cannot change it completely. So we have to accept ourselves that it's hard to be the best version. So we can change ourselves, but we cannot. It's really hard to completely to recreate ourselves. It's more control we have what our kids are. We can help them to build the personalities, better personalities. It's impossible for us to completely recreate ourselves, I think. This next one is there is almost nothing 100% good and strong to rely on today. Neither religion, no state, no family, no friends, not the spirit and know yourself. So we should check everything before we rely on it. That's again, it's a difficult situation we have. We should challenge everything and recreate the mindset, worldview, and ourselves from the disabled state. We're like disabled. We cannot do our best, but we need to slowly fix ourselves. And you can't take anything strong enough and good enough to rely on. It's a difficult position. One should be brave and clever in order to overcome all the lies, negative programming, to overcome slave masters and to rise with people suffering within this slavery people system. It is it is indeed difficult because the layers of the system of the control system we have is the system is so vast and there's so many levels and so many lies and the education takes time and all the practice of the changes takes time and it's painful. That's why people going on this road, people taking this road are indeed brave and clever and the bright, bright best people. Have respect for them. I need to mention that there are still pockets of happiness and people living in an illusion of safety and prosperity when real life space is being destroyed every day. So the people who believe in the illusion and is somehow surrounded by comfort for today and they buy into this mainstream facade of lies uh, where, where, where we are today. So everyone who has awakened knows that it's so difficult to speak with them. It's difficult to speak with people brought up by the mainstream because they have completely different terminology and their world is upside down and they do not want to leave that bubble. Yeah, so the people exist who look happy. They just think they can reach what they need. They believe in tools that the system given them. They're on the way, can be successful, but they do not see because they do not see the truth. They haven't yet failed. People who have awakened, they time to time ask themselves, "Am I doing the right thing?" Because all this awakening brings pity and misery to me, and there are still people just following the rules, and they have family, money, I mean, businesses, the stability. They look healthy. They like emotionally, they like mm, more attractive. They're more confident. It's like, am I doing the right thing? And yeah, people I come back to the point that yes, I am doing the right thing. It is very difficult, and it is tempting to leave it sometimes and just to follow the another example of how people believe in an illusion live because they have that also illusion of happiness and success. They call it in Western world, but let's be clear that what your system is also want you to have is example of people following the rules and living a better life. So you also are tempted to live that mainstream life without real power. Let's be brave and strong to continue on our path, what I want to say. We should seek all the ways to unite all the good people belonging to different mindsets. And last thing, what talking about future, that let's take extra efforts to unite all the good people, because once people wake up, they have all different mindsets and views on what's going on. But let's build a strong foundation for all of them to unite. That's what this First Alliance platform is about. Yeah, we're still different, but we must look after each other. We must unite. Slowly, slowly, step by step, against all the odds. I'm finished with where are we now? 3 slides. Yeah, with the description. Want to move to the desired state, from the current state to the desired state. Who do we want to be? That's the first question. Let's answer that. Okay, who do we want to be? In order to achieve our ideal world, it's not sufficient to act outwardly. We also need to change from within. We need to be open minded enough to see our negative behavioral patterns, and we need to be brave enough to overcome them and learn new positive ways of treating ourselves and others. So that's a very important subject. So, who do we want to be? That's what's inside, that is outside. Both worlds are related. What happens outside that's related to us. What happens inside us influence the world around us. Sometimes internal changes are painful and scary, but healing ourselves is essential for progress. We need to master new tools in order to build a new world. We need to listen to our hearts and intuition. Yeah, it's very important. Healing ourselves, yeah, many find it difficult, especially in the beginning, and scary. Yeah, but step after step, people learn that we need to overcome our behavior is stopping us from having relationships we want, and we need to change ourselves. Yeah, and it is difficult because there is a pain in the past, in the childhood or adult life, that we need to come through. We need to come into it and to change this pattern. There are many various psych techniques that can be used to fix our mental state, psychological state. They they usually involve going through pain, and it could be emotional pain or it could be mental pain in terms of you need to admit yourself being wrong, or you need to self that you behaved as stupid, the actions were stupid, incorrect, embarrassing. It also takes courage. We need to master new tools in order to build a new world. Yes, the new tools means we need to master the tools to work with our internal self. We need to listen to our heart's intuition. That's a very important subject, because that is usually blocked living in this world. The system is blocked of intuition. It always gives us hints. It tries to help us to heal, to change, and we must listen this because it knows much better than our logical mind in this wrong with this weak construct, this weak logical construct we have around the world we live in. We must stop living mechanical lives even when they seem very logical. Yeah, it's again about listening and intuition. With so many people so used to living this logical lives, it's like you does like everyone else does around you. You just follow the do what is appropriate. But when it doesn't make you happy, people start challenging it and questioning it. Why we do this? Why we do that? And we need to be brave. When if everyone does the wrong thing, you should do the right thing. Yeah. So we want to be these brave people. We should challenge the status quo. Yeah, that is living in this under evil control system. You should challenge the status quo. These evil individualities that this system weak selfish individuality that the system produces, which should challenge that status quo, should become strong, find balance between social and individual, should connect to reality again, to the current moment, should let our true feelings guide us. Another thing is emotions. System likes to suppress emotions because they come with power to change the world around us. When the mental state of your thoughts and emotions are in balance and harmony, they produce resonance and you change the reality, you change yourself, change the world around you. So what we need to learn to do, express our emotions, find peace with our emotions, with all of them. Should not be suppressing them. Should let our feelings, our intuition to guide us. So system likes us to live in the past and the future. Yeah, many things were said. How we need to live, find the balance and to live in the current moment more. That's where the change comes, and that's where our 100% concentration is required. Should duct from the space of life and wisdom we have inside. It's again disbelief in yourself, distrust in your gut feeling. As we should overcome. We should trust more ourselves, step by step, little by little. We have that wisdom. We need to get access to it. We should use powers we had when we were kids. Pure intention, strong focus, dedication, belief that everything is possible, courage. We need to speak the truth and express our true self. It's again very difficult to do this system here, which try to that system that tries to you everyone to be the same, behave in the same way, propose accepted patterns and disapprove the behavior that the system doesn't like. But if we remember our times as kids, that's how that's the direction where we change because kids are this so natural, they so like true, they can very focused, dedicated, emotions are full of life, they're full of life. So that's the state we should come back to it every moment. Don't be afraid who you are, like openly and honestly communicate your message in a friendly way. Maybe sometimes not in a friendly way, but to get back to this alive feeling from this zombie matrix state, how it wants it to be like put in a box of emotions and mental states. No, we should blow it up and express our true selves in our natural terms. Remember how did you behave like when you were a kid and try to get into that state? Because we came here to live our life, to express ourselves and not to be put ourselves in a box and live all your life in a box. Nobody wants it. Should engage truly. We should engage to truly accept each other, give others space to make errors and fix them. Another thing, accepting ourselves and accept is accepting others, because others, especially in this world full of suffering, drama, trauma, yeah, we need to give people space. We should not. People make errors. We should not give up on them. We should not give hope. We should always try to connect and communicate and show our human side and recognize human side in others and go through difficult moments and then come back and support each other. Shouldn't build castles, shouldn't run away, shouldn't hide away. Yeah, it's very tempting to isolate yourself from the world. It's difficult to connect to the world. You have difficult interactions, but should find strengths to support not ourselves, but if you got strong enough to support others, do not break context, do not isolate. Get together, learn to unite, learn to support each other, build this human networks, learn different languages. People speak different languages, different patterns, interactions. We should accept each other. We should unite together. Sometimes it takes strength to be fair. If someone has done bad deeds, he should be taken accountable, right? Yeah, accepting each other doesn't mean allowing anything, all the bad deeds. We need to be also strong to take someone accountable. We should execute justice if there is place for it. If something is, if someone is guilty of horrible deeds, yeah, justice should be executed. We should not be peace and love just in this new age terms. No, love means someone's killing the traitors and sometimes killing the evil people. If they deliberately, consciously, if they have done harm to many people deliberately, they should see the consequences of that. We should be strong to apply the justice. It's not a job for everyone, but we should just understand that. Like human body gets rid of cancer cells or any cells that harm the body the same way society should get rid of evil people that deliberately harming society and do not want to change, do want to be parasites on it or predators. Yeah, there's no place in a friendly world for them. Right. The next slide. Where do we want to be? A destination is well defined on the manifesto page. Let me open that. That's how it looks. The website manifesto. Second menu item. So this is a manifesto of a bright future image that we aspire to. Below is the description how we want all the aspects of the world to look like. Together, all the aspects describe a new reality that we want to manifest together. And so that's a destination, that's an image. It's very important. Whoever works with consciousness understands that emotions, intentions, images as the basic, this is the core part of our interaction with the reality. The manifesto tells what is the bright image, where all the people I mean, ideally, that's how people should approach the future. All the good people should agree how this image looks like. So this is my version of it. But then all the new people who join, I mean, are open to look at it and work on this together, modify it together. So that should be alive. That's yeah, mostly. So this is mostly built by myself, based on my research and knowledge. And how we should have a single image of the future, agree on it, and manifest it together. Think about it, so our emotions and intentions, meditate on it, and that's how this becomes reality. The more we concentrate on it, the faster it comes into our life. That's law of attraction, universal law of attraction works. It's very important to have one image that we agree on than hundreds of different images, because we will be moving all the different directions. We want to move in this single direction, good and evil. Destination. All personal and social aspects are clean from evil. Evil is transformed to support good. Evil creatures are cast into the evil worlds. We know they're around, we cannot see them, but we can feel them. We should send them back to the evil worlds. Truth is available for all. So we want to truth to be available for all. And the justice is executed righteously. Next one, collective consciousness, mythology, and fairy tales. We want people to find happiness through love. Collective consciousness should be made of cooperation patterns, positive relationships between human and nature. Real history should come out and be made public. New stories are written to heal drama and pain of the old myths. Current mythology we have is very troublesome. We need new stories to be written to heal this drama and pain and to show new wonderful examples of warm and friendly relationships based on love between family members, community members, nations. Mythical creatures like dragons and serpents should come to peace and union with humans. But maybe separately, I will talk about the deep details about what about this phrase, what this union between these mythical creatures, dragons and serpents, and humans means. That's very essence of the first alliance. It's very important part of it. And as these beings and dragons are usually considered sentient beings, and many fairy tales where dragons and humans stay in conflict. So they should come to peace. They can actually should be able to work together. And it's on a mythological level. And new fairy tales written to support peace between us and the world around us. Yes, we need new fairy tales which show a good example, treating nature. Archetypes represent true love and win-win relationship. That's what we want. We want the way we approach the world around us and people around us should be so naturally good, so there should not be even a thought that something can go wrong, something can be dishonest, or it is risky, or we need to protect ourselves. It should all be left in the past. Nation and races, a very important subject. Every nation and race has a land and a home to live and flourish. It's, every nation That's that's a very important concept because now we have countries, we have governments, we have borders, and we have nations spread across different governments and countries. Sometimes they're minority, sometimes they're majority. It's a bit of a mess. Globalist countries with so many nations mixed in and ethnicities, finding difficult to cooperate there. Yes, and understand each other. What we want, every race and every ethnicity, is to find a place and find the land where they can live how they want to live. There must be a place where they can define the rules and live by them. Every nation should be free to follow tradition of its ancestors and its authentic culture. We should find and dig into the history of the regional state of society, that authentic culture, all the original traditions of the people, and we should be able to come return to them, and every nation should be free to follow them. Next one, every nation chooses its ethnic composition. That's an interesting topic. It's a vast topic because there's so many national conflicts and ethnical conflicts now. There is wars and genocide happening, so that all should be healed. And really, there are many questions. It's like, do we should one nation live with another one, and they should come together and decide, do they want to build a single ethnicity country, or they want to be have several ethnicities in there. Maybe they accept ethnicities who speak their language. Maybe they speak ethnicities that share their values. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, there are different opinions, but it all should be discussed. And every nation should choose its ethnic composition. It should not be forced by external forces, mimicking, globalists always mimicking to be the voice of the people when they are not. So the first of the nation should come together and get rid of globalists from the world we know, and then it will be quite easy, I'm sure, to have a conversation for every person, for every nation to build a home, and then for every person to be able to choose a home they want. They definitely should have one based on their ethnicity, but maybe they will have several. Who knows? So I don't find it a problem. So it should be really achievable. But once we get rid of all the globalists, all nations belong to the Union of Nations. All nations respect, yes. So once every nation has a home and is happy there, then they come to see other nations and to make friends and make alliances and make trade deals and cultural interactions. Yeah, science, forums, technology. Yeah, as a part of true Union of Nations, not what we have now. And all the nations we foresee, all the nations should respect each other, coexist peacefully, and cooperate. That's the basic thing. You have respect, and then you can coexist peacefully and cooperate where you want to. Religions. Every religion and belief system agrees on its teaching internally. Because right now, with major religions, they have so many branches, they have so many opinions. What's happening there? Maybe they want to keep several branches. Maybe they want to have single teaching for all of them. Yeah, they should decide. So there is no internal conflict because there are like radicals exist in some religions. Yeah, they should be clear. Is it which is a true teaching, which is a true approach? Yeah, what is the standard even for branches to be human oriented and friendly? What else? Every religion should develop its teaching over time. What it means is religion is also alive. Religion, I believe, spiritual life, because all the religions and belief systems they were influenced over time by evil. There is no perfect religion, I believe, and all of them. And when every person can develop themselves spiritually in any religion, sometimes in some of them it's harder, in some of them it's easier, but with effort, in every religion, the person can develop himself or herself spiritually, but it shouldn't be dogmatic. I mean, it's not set aside. Everything, we are human beings, we are alive, so that the religion changes, I believe. If different belief systems should be able to join, should join a united platform where they can respect and understand each other and coexist peacefully, the same as nations. What we want to see that different religions believe, expecting each other, saying that this is the way to develop yourself spiritually and to understand the truth about the universe and creator of universe. And this is another way to develop yourself spiritually. Yes, you can. It's also respectable and reasonable. And there should be some standards set that they say, well, these are features of friendly religion. Yes, when it respects itself and respects others. And all the radical teachings and branches should not be a part of this platform. You cannot develop yourself spiritually if you want to kill all the others, infidels. Economic and social. All social classes come to unity. Every activity is valued. People have the opportunity to make the best use of their talents and do what they love. All this social interaction and activity that people should undertake should be in line with their talents and what this is the thing they love. People cooperate for common good. In reality, we have more than we need for basic goods and services, products and services. And businesses should be based on social value, not on greed. How much social value they bring. Technology is used in harmony with the environment. Balance is restored towards natural communication, and science should be tool for progress. Educational is available for all based on people's talents. Healthcare system focused on a healthy lifestyle. Art and culture. Creating beautiful art and culture is restored. Dancing, singing, playing musical instruments, drawing becomes part of everyone's life. Art becomes the one that takes the best of people and encourages evolution. Elected powers are trusted by the people who elected them through a fair, multi-level electoral system. Electoral powers and nominate appointed powers that govern social spheres. This governance is balanced by elected powers locally. Right? So leaders are trusted, and when they come with the decisions back to the people locally can still say, "Well, you got something wrong. No, we do not need that. We can, like, you should rethink." Because whatever decisions and laws are made, they should make sense locally. So you should balance elected powers and appointed powers. Happens to communities and friendship. Friendly relationships and high levels of trust should be between all community members. Institute of Elders is re-established to look after the society, and everyone feels connected to society. Families, strong families and extended families and kings and clans flourish. Strong connection between generations is established. Parent, Parents and children, husband and wife, brothers and sisters, these relationships are in harmony. Family members support each other with all the warmth. People thoughts and emotions are in harmony. Body is healthy. People develop themselves spiritually. People do what they love. So that's the manifesto. Okay, next one. How are we going to move? So we discussed the current state, we discussed the desired state. So interesting question is how we get from one state to another. We have to go through a personal development and transformation together with social transformation we want to bring. We'll bring change to all levels of creation for good. First one, we have a common spiritual plan to change an image of the bright future and use our energy and creativity to bring it to life. The plan is described in a vision. Let me go to this part. Our vision is described on the website. First Alliance has a vision to bring the many aspects of being into alliance. Again, the problem. Evil hierarchy. So we're talking about the plan. Evil hierarchy throughout the globe uses culture and mainstream media to project lies, bad images, evil images, fear, and worry into people of all nations. This causes people to accept negative projections about their future. They use these images to build the future. They start trusting these images, even they don't like them initially. They just trust in them because saying it's all around. That's what going to happen. But we do not want to have that. We are sure any time in the process this can stop and be reverted. All the images can be come into our life can be stopped and reverted. Many people do not see the depths of evil behind this facade. Evil forces are working to bring these negative of the future into our life. It's like broken families, wars and conflict, political battles, social inequalities, poverty, limited resources. They're trying to say that our resources are limited. Solution: the world needs to see the truth first, and the world needs a shared vision of a positive future where many people can find agreement through thought and aspiration. We need a positive future image where people can stop accepting the negative images about the future and agree on the positive images and believe in them and use them to think about the future and charge them with creativity and power of intentions. First Alliance is wanting to help people dream of a bright future and act appropriately to bring it by providing various tools. While the exact path of this new bright world is not yet fully known, the first step is to have an image for the collective consciousness to follow. All the aspects social, economy, elected powers, art and culture, religious, belief system, families, communities, all these levels, we should bring a bright image, agree with people to believe that it's achievable. That's a start. As a result, individuals will combine their positive thoughts and emotions, power of creations, and actions together more and more every day. As people come into alliance with themselves, the positive images of the world will become more powerful than negative ones. As more and more people support positive images, it's almost like a scale, they would add more weight. So negative images, they have more weight now, let's say. And the more we charge positive images with our intentions, the more weight they have. And they will outweigh at some point the negative images, and negative images will disappear. Negative future will disappear. Because we believe and we want and we work towards positive future, it will come. It is difficult in the beginning, as individuals have too many issues to believe that it's going to happen. But the trick is to take power away from these negative images and charge all the troubles we have with positivity, how you want to be So you think, oh, it's difficult to have a good family. Well, then you need to swap, you to change this belief into think it is possible, it is easy to have a good family. You just need to find one person who you can build a good family with, have nice kids. Oh, it's easy to do the have a dream job to do what you love. It's difficult sometimes. Some people say there is not enough jobs, but you need to believe that there is a job for you. There is enough. It's difficult in the beginning, but we must change it. We must change the polarity. Many people know numerous current issues with this world, so the solution is to declare an intention using your powers of creation, and this is available for all people once they understand it and believe in it. So again, we need to declare our intentions. We have the power, we have the right to declare the future we can attract the future, we can influence the reality around us, which we need to be declared and confident. And step by step, we'll see the change. We can get more pressure from the system once we start declaring positive intentions. But we should carry on together. And that pressure will disappear. There is a limited pressure that system will apply to us. It's not infinite. Once we agree together, once we move in the right direction together, we'll break free. This concept is known as law of attraction, some details given in the secret movie, various other sources. What it says is that many people allow the world they see, that is quite troublesome, to define their future. The secret is to change that, to allow your wish of the future to define the future. Whatever we believe comes true. We believe this based on law of attraction. We gravitate to that direction. If we believe that, we gravitate to that direction. We believe something is possible, impossible. It is so in our reality. And of course, we got all the wrong things to believe, fed by the control system, by the matrix. But we must believe in the things that are useful to us. Bright future image. All the world we know, with its abuse, fears, troubles, degradation, and general parasitic relationships, should change for the opposite. Love, friendship, care, and evolution that is based on symbiotic relationships. On this platform, we want to set general guidelines to what this new image may look like, give ideas of tools that people can use to achieve it. More importantly, they can craft the tools themselves to bring in this new world. We want to build this image and to revisit and rebuild this image and keep this update and keep it alive. Together with new people coming, we'll keep updating this image of the future. It's also important that more people believe in the same thing, so there is a unity of wishes that would give more speed and precision for the world to change. Yeah, so we need to concentrate. Many people they should look into the same direction. So I've done the diagram to explain why it is important to concentrate on the same future. So we see the first group of people, like three groups of people, and concentrate on different futures to come, and each future will have less power because group intent is different. And when all good people dream on the same future, they have a shared vision, it's more effective. So it's got more power. And if we have evil group of people here dreaming of their future of parasitic society, then it can have less power. It will have less power than this collective image. So that's why it's important to unite and agree on the future we want to live in. So that's spiritual plan to concentrate on the bright future image. Okay, we have also another thing is a community social development plan that should reach a country level and then world level. There's also an article written to describe the final to describe the steps needs to be taken to build a new society from within the existing society. So there are some traditional ways for communities to self-organize. Now we're all isolated. We all follow the we're all subject to laws and regulations in our governments, which we do not like often. And even the execution of these existing laws, it's it's not fair because many criminals they exist through these rules, and the rules do not apply to them. There is invisible criminal, some invisible criminal layer of people in the governments who are not subject to laws. It's only ordinary citizens who are subject to these laws. Part of the ruling class is not subject to the laws they written to for others. The justice system and police and secret services they ignore all the evil done by this ruling class because ruling class controls this justice. So to overcome this, to get back control of our countries, the government, we need to level by level build a trusted hierarchy of elected powers. We should elect people we trust, level by level, and that will reach government level. That's how through personal, through community level, we'll reach social level, and we'll start influencing these appointed powers, like our governments, parliament, presidents, local governments, mayors. There is an article. This is an article written how people should self-organize to decide to rebuild power structures for themselves. So this is an individual, family, or person. In order to influence big, high-scale social context, first, like 10 people should get together. Let's say 10 people should get together and find a representative. So that representative, so for that representative should then go to the next level and meet other representatives of 10 people, leader of 10, we can say. And they need to choose another representative of 100. That representative of 100 will go to the next level and to meet representative of 100. And let's say we're talking about village of 300 people, just for simplicity. There will be three representative of 100 people or leaders of hundreds who form a natural would form a natural board of leaders for this community. And this board of leaders, we shall call them, they can they will decide on all the coordination and administration for this village. So that was a natural way to self-govern for communities to self-govern. Yeah. So this picture represents this part, and this is our plan. We need this elected powers tree to be rebuilt because currently we also is bottom up, and that will create a pointed branch of powers, a pointed tree of powers. We still have, all the governments they have this part, but it is disconnected from the natural elected powers branch of powers. It's disconnected, so the link was broken, and that's why the system doesn't work. It's not this part in governments does not have trust. And we need to rebuild this part so we are able to influence the powers and decide things for ourselves here. We have in the beginning is a Kopa man. Kopa is a, based on Russian tradition, is word that means together. So Kopa man is a man who has a family and a house. Let's say there is a man, a leader of his household. He has a family, children, experience. Let's say he's 50 years. It's just an example. Don't want to run into details. It's a proper article. You can read it. But so there's a respected man that wants to take part in self-organization of his community, basically. So that's a copper man. If he had the best word, it's household representative. Theoretically, it can be a woman, but it's just traditional societies. So the women were busy with other things, and they were family sort of decided they preferred men to be busy with this business of self-administration, self-organization. So for simplicity, let's talk about men here. But in modern societies, we can adopt this model. Women can also take part in these decisions. Copperman is a representative of a household. So this representative joins. It means if there are 10 people, it means there are 10 families. And then if a countryside and a village structure, it's say 10 houses with 10 families, like on a street, you imagine 10 houses with 10 families. So they join together on a meeting and say, well, we need to decide on many things, how we grow crops, how we collect crops, what tools do we need, what education we want to give our kids, and all this, what big governments do, like on a local scale, to decide on many things. Healthcare, education. So they came together and decided, okay, we need to decide many things, but we also have, we have 300 people in our village. And even we decide something on the street, it may not be really effective because it's only 10 of us. And if we need to build a house, like there is a new family, maybe 10 of us is not enough. So there are some questions that on a higher, should we solve on a higher scale. So really, we want really to connect with all the other people of our nation speaking the same language, same ethnicity, live in this village, in our village first, to say, okay, let's do that. But we figured out the best way to do that is let's just say, let's select a representative. Okay, we need the most reasonable, most experienced representative, one of our men who would represent our interests on a larger scale meeting. So they talk to each other and they know somehow figure it out what's important. First important thing is unanimity. So they together agree who is their representative, not five, six of them decided, not majority decided that for 6/4 people, or not 9/1 people decided. They all decided together. So all 10 should agree. So this is the best representative. That's one first key point. So they came and agreed that this is a representative. Unanimity is the first principle. That they all agree together, and if there's some disagreements, different opinions, and option, then they all should discuss why someone thinks he's not the best person. Maybe he knows something. He should talk to others. So it's all about talking, conversation, understanding, and it's a long process. But then together they build a single view on who is the best representative. So this is unanimity. Actually, this is a true unity of the people. There is no force like with democracies. You have majority rules, minorities. No, all agree. And another important thing is actually they have to say, everyone has to say that this person is better than me. So it's a great degree of self awareness. So the ego should be defeated to say this person is a better representative, not me, someone else. Yeah, so that's a school of thoughts. It's a mindset people used to have. Cooperational, truly cooperational mindset, and accepting reality as it is. It's like, so they decided it's almost like it's their older brothers, and this is a man, the best who has best experience, and it's best for us to send him to be our representative, so we get what we need, so our lives be better. Yeah, it's like I want to. So they all say like it's our older brother who will look after us. Yeah, so they had the trust. Second important point is about these elections, local elections. That then person met other representative. Those people could also meet in a village, so they knew each other. They saw each other and they know what everyone did. So then these people got together. They had to choose another representative, the best person out of them, who would be representative of 100, would go to the village top council and represent them, saying, you know, like you're the brightest person from us. So the disagreement, a really bright person, and the other 10 said, please represent us. You have best experience, best knowledge of things. Yeah, and that's how these three representatives were selected, and they formed this the the structure, the top structure of self-organizing community. And then, so this is this part. Once they found the top of the elected powers, they would decide. If it's a small village like 300 people, they could decide things by themselves. But if imagine it grows like to 3,000, 30,000, 300,000, 3 million of people, the structure is so big that they needed help of appointed powers. Because these people, they really can govern. So from the level of 100, so when a representative of 100 select, he could also be like administrator of this community already. He can handle a lot of many things himself, but because it's 100 people, just to remember all these names, to coordinate all that demand and supply, he needs time. And starting from this level of 100, starting with the representative of 100 households, people involved in coordination didn't work themselves. They didn't plow their own bread, but they received support from community because there was no longer enough time for their household duties. That's reasonable, isn't it? How can you expect a person to grow his own bread when he's busy with coordination? It's too much work. Really difficult step for modern society comes. We to reestablish the structure once we select someone who is looking after the hundreds of men, families, hundreds of families, like local coordinators. Once we elect this local coordinator, we need to be able to support them. So here everyone should, let's say on salary, we're talking about salary, should sacrifice 1% of his salary to go to this coordinator so that he can coordinate life, be really helpful. So he'll bring much more value than this lost 1%. But this is really a step very far for local communities, and very few people are ready to do that. But that's necessary step to support our leaders. That's when I talk on this slide. When I talked about supporting leaders and followers. So the leader is one leader of 100, and other 99 are willing to follow the leaders and follow and also to support. And if people are not ready to support their leaders cannot lead alone. Yeah, because it's full-time job and they should be supported. People cannot expect their leaders just out of nowhere do everything for them and without support. We have money now to support. Before it used to be just crops and clothes is something. But I expect people to be any serious about self-governing communities, self-ruling communities, building them. They should be able to should be ready to support their leaders. Absolutely important. There's no work around them. So we should, for us to build these communities, we must be able to sacrifice some of, part of our income. That's a general approach. I mean, of course, we have some people with huge bank accounts without too much duties who can spend all of their time. They have, let's say, enough income to do it all of us on their own. It is possible. Yeah, that's good if that happens. But if they have family, they with coordination, if they really go into the next level of politics, they will also have risks, and these other people who support them should cover for the risks. And it's a different story. They can die, and their family should be looked after. And it's not just about the money. Yeah, it should be different. Relationship should build. People should build strong relationship to support each other. Yeah, we kind of should isolate just in our home with our bank accounts, have no responsibilities for our leaders, and expect everything to work smoothly. No, leaders must be supported. And going back to this part, yeah, still talking about community development plan. Let's go back to community development plan. Right. These people can only do coordination. But as I say, if we move up and up layers, and we have 3 million of people here, the important part is people know them. All these people, they know each other, maybe not very well, but they can anytime walk to this, talk to this other people in the village and say, like, why do you trust your representative? Is he a real person? And they say, yeah, we live with him every day. Like, this is our neighbor. That's how they build trust through the neighborhood. So every person in power is someone who proved to their neighbors that he is a decent, good person. Paid to the politicians who are isolated, living in nobody knows where, and have no people to back them, back their words, saying, "Oh, well, actually, he is a good man." So all these respected men, you could easily come back and see how they raised to power, how they were chosen to representative. There is no accident. The system controls itself. The best really get to this point. And if we go representative of like hundreds and thousands, representative of thousands of people, representative of 10,000 of people, yes, you still at that level you cannot. Maybe you do not know these people, but you can always easily access people who selected them as a representative. You can just go to that village, and when many villages gather together, you can go to that village and say, "So why is it truly your representative? Is he truly a good person?" And you will hear yes. So all this power is protected. So this rise to the power is protected, and it ensures that these are the best people. Right, and if there's a government level, there's you have 3 million, 30 million of people in the country, then what happens in a national state, ideally an ethno state, because I believe that's the best form of society, ethnical state, or ethnic state, ethno state. It is optional. I mean, obviously, people can decide the proportion of foreigners, of people with different ethnicity who follow, share the same traditions, culture, language. but ideally it's ethnic state. So you have then everyone understands each other, and you have the same blood, and all society develops it in the same direction genetically. Yeah, that's our great, like what we have parliaments and presidents. That's we know how this works. President is elected, he selects ministers, they govern different education, health ministry, military, police, something else. Yeah, and this structure then appointed powers, but the source of it comes to people, from people. This is how people form their government. This is how it should form. We should rebuild this structure, and that's the purpose, and that's the plan of First Alliance. That's community development plan that should come to reality, that we should implement ourselves. So we need to reach this level. And what happens at this level is quite easy, yes. What's important to say briefly is that once the appointed powers, they appoint police departments, officers in a city town, and if policemen, there is an issue in a village, the policeman comes to the village, he cannot directly get someone to court, put to jail. No. What he should do, he should come to the, let's say he comes to the village, to the representative, he comes to the village council, and together with the representative of 100, comes to that person, and they together decide what happens, what's the charge. Um, they consider the case together, not policemen. So what we have a problem now, this branch is not balanced. These people could do whatever to these individuals. As we don't have this structure, these individuals are weak. But what really should this policeman should come, should be balanced by this branch, and they come and talk to these people. And if the people approve their actions, then policemen can take this man to the jail, let's say to jail or to court, with the agreement of these people. Otherwise, he cannot do something. Yeah, that's how the structures were balanced, and we must rebuild this structure. Okay. And everyone should be busy with rebuilding the structures, right? What's the next plan? How are we going to move? The next thing, work groups to implement our strategy. Take up a work groups page. Going back to this picture, work groups, they represent these ministries in the government, education, health. Go to the next work groups page. See better for yourself. This is a list of the work groups that we have in First Alliance which play a major role in bringing the new reality. Let's take a look at which this suits you best. You can become a member of several of these groups. The project below operates under First Alliance guidance. Whilst on one hand we're rebuilding our communities up to the government country level, so we're doing that. But until we succeeded to rebuild that structure, in parallel, we start performing functions. So this is community group. So we should also ideally be part of community groups and be a leader, or build a community and elect a leader, local leaders. We should also be doing other activities which represent more departments and the standard powers that governments have. Media group, influence group, like politics, spiritual group, art group, partnership group. I'll tell about later. Let's start with communities. Community is the first one that everyone should be busy with. Is main group to promote community leaders and provide platform for them to collaborate and learn. Main purpose is to build local communities and cultural centers around personal development, art, self-defense, sports, and looking after younger generation. This local community should look after younger generation together. Basically, you it's community spirit you develop. You unite on a low level on your street. Everyone should be busy with that. And then, so this is a working group. The group uses various channels to promote the first alliance measures message. One of the goals is to highlight conflict resolution practices within social groups and demand individuals. While we have this divide and conquer, and we should solve and show people the way how we can unite, bring all the conflicts, resolve all the conflicts you have, and get back to the unity. It's like if people follow a different religion, there are atheists, Christians, the people following traditional pantheons of gods, like in Hindu or Slavic pantheon of gods, should all come together and should find ways to communicate. The group promotes awareness of evil divine and conquer patterns, highlighting traps and the lies that send people on the dark path. And how people are turned against each other. We want to show that and fix it. This group is working to offer a solution and show how people and groups can make peace and unity in challenging times. I'll show you briefly the content that we produce. It's interviews and articles, it could be videos about traditional societies, English patriotism with Paul Riemer, for example, Libya, about attempts of ethnic uh, national forces to fight over globalists. Like an example of Gaddafi, practices of what's, for example, of marriage in Indian culture, like how that tradition is well defined and passed through generation is a good example how to make a family. Experiences to be learned from South Africa when the different ethnicities and races are mixed. Do they live happy or not? What what lessons, what people saw and what lessons could be learned of mixing people in globalist society? Does it work for people or not? We cover these subjects so people are aware that yeah, it's not the best way. Best way is to live with people you can understand and that belong to the same culture. So we talk about forced mixing. People are forcefully mixed from different nations and traditions into a single language, into a single culture, globalist type culture, and whether they're happy or not, whether there is a choice or not. Another thing is talking about ethnic nationalism. So nationalism is a good word. It's like racism. Used to be just a word that said that something is related to race. Same as nationalism. It's just a word said that something is related to nation. But globalists try to destroy the language and assault language we use and to remove all the strong and powerful words from it because nationalism is really love for your nation. It shouldn't be, no one should be afraid or scared to use it, to be ridiculed and ostracized. No, it's a good word for talking about ethnic nationalism because it's a human right to live in it. Should be a human right to live in a community they want to live in, and I should be able to execute that right. White race defined in a context, talking about racial consciousness. White privilege, yeah, the hot subjects we cover, and we develop language and point of view to counteract the globalist agenda. There is a different message in the world, and the way you can use that language and justify your view. Rights of First Nation is again about the human rights for the nations to live where they want and how they want. Yeah, the media project basically covers the good things about all the aspects. We just started from traditional societies, talked about Union of Nations, about ethnic nationalism and patriotism as the most complex subjects. Yeah, not talking about religion, but that's what Media Project does. You can join this initiative and cover all the good things and the positive image we want to bring. Another group you can join is influence group to influence politics, social organization, businesses, religions, governments through knowledge sharing and collaboration. Yeah, want to build a platform for various groups with different or conflicting interests. So we want to build a platform for people to come together and agree how they can will live together, not fight with each other, but how they can live together peacefully. That's about influence and politics groups. How we can influence politics and social organizations? There are many ways. Basically, once you start building your local communities, organizations, so we can influence politics by educating people in power, transforming their consciousness, promoting honest, decent people into positions of power. Yes, we can do that. Those like policemen, government workers. So we can make sure that we have honest people there through conversations and local community statements. Yes, we build local communities. We can influence businesses around us. We can say, I'm a representative of this street. I'm a representative of this like building, hundred of people. And as a local community, we like or don't like what you're doing. And you can start influencing businesses and you can start influencing schools because you will have a voice. One person doesn't have a voice. We have hundreds of people. You have local media, you can have local social media. You can be creative how we can just deliver our message. Yeah. You can also influence businesses by ignoring their products, for example, if they're not ethical enough. Yeah. We can influence businesses through collective collaboration and by collective boycott. Spiritual group. Everyone can join spiritual group. It's for people who continue to learn how this world works. So that's education, philosophy, science, psychology. For those who can educate others, pass through moral and ethical principles through history. Yeah, so that's a spirit. Those who are capable of healing, mentoring, gathering, and sharing wisdom. It's about wisdom. It's about moral values, ethics. Also for those who can work with energies, work with the unseen, spiritual, psychic, psychological, and esoteric aspects. So we should influence on spiritual level, the spiritual warfare that is going on. It's a different subject, but people can join here. Furthermore, it also includes the most difficult part dealing with evil, such as transforming dark, evil consciousness, revoking dark contracts, executing justice, helping individuals to withdraw from parasitic paradigm, relationships, and evil social structures. Yeah, that's very narrow, but it's very difficult to do is when I don't want to talk about these details, but that should be done. Yeah, it was the spirit because the transformation happened and the people changed the way they think and change change their mindset, the world they want to live in, and all people who are part of evil, who are tricked into evil, or who made the decision to join evil forces and be part of this evil parasitic hierarchy, they decide to leave. Sometimes they don't know how to do that because it's a dangerous area there. You cannot. Sometimes they want to lose privileges. Sometimes they're even ready to lose all the privileges they have. They just can't keep doing the harm they're doing. Still, they don't know how to live. We need to help them. So the spiritual group should be busy with as well, influencing collective and individual consciousness through various types of energetic work. Yeah, I talked about before a lot about collective consciousness because we're really all connected in it, and it has a state, and whatever we do, it affects us, and we need to reprogram it because this is programmed at the moment for society we live in. So it's difficult to be good person, move in the right direction, but we need to reprogram it. There are ways as well as there's energetic work, so that work can also be done. Art group. It's more down to us. This group is for creative people to produce motivational artworks in order to encourage human evolution, trigger transformation, and touch people's souls through books, images, movies, music, songs, and poetry. All the wonderful, bright artists that should join forces, come together, write songs, write books, images, music, because the message passed through the art, architecture, sculpture, message passed through the art is much more powerful than thousands of words. You can change reality much quicker. You can affect society much quicker. So that's it works like any related to human body because spiritual work is the brain and warriors. It's like immunity and artists are like glands, pineal gland. We know. Okay, so we have endocrine glands, endocrine pineal gland. Which one is this? Thyroid. The gland is an organ which produces and releases substances that perform specific function in the body. The list of glands that affect the whole body. So these are what artists do. They can affect the whole body. They can affect how people who producing the art, and the message can be really fast and powerful, and it touches emotion. The rating agency, we need that to perform assessment of businesses, governmental departments, non-profit organizations. In addition to conduct evaluation of spiritual teachings, religious practices, books, media products, and artworks. Because we need to know what's the moral stand, ethical value, what's the ethical stand of a person or book or a song or a movie or the government department is how much is it in line with the friendly world that we want to build, the bright future we want to have. This partnership group, you're already part of an existing, if you're already active in your society, community, you already build your community and you want to join forum where we help people to develop their community, you want to talk to other members how to do it, want to join. If you're also part of, you have a project, maybe you have sort of charity work that you're doing, or that have some active project helping society, environment around you. You can join as a partner. Don't need to be a member. You can join as a partner because building the shared platform and space for everyone with similar values to join. Communities group, I stop again. It's the basic important part of it to getting power back to communities from the governments that we do not trust to build local communities, organize people around self-defense, yeah, sport activities, looking after young generation, personal development, art, anything to work on learning and practicing our communities, self-organization. And now we have personal spiritual guidance. It's not very well covered yet. I can show the tools page that talks about some things, although we should develop our spirit. But this subject is quite well covered on the internet. There are many good spiritual teachings already exist. I didn't have this goal to cover it. It's already quite well covered. Some personal tools I want to empower people just briefly. I'll talk through it. Examples of action and concepts for individuals who want to develop themselves spiritually. These tools will bring bright images to the future. People should live part of their day in the future they want to have. So do not think it's very, very far away. We should bring it into our day and live through the day. Just do a little bit of thinking, new thinking, a little bit of actions of the new world. Give me some examples. Should believe in better future, believe that light will prevail, believe family members will rejoin if there is a broken family, believe the neighbors will become friends, believe nations will become friends. We need to believe. It's very rare currency. Spend minimal time with negativity. We need to transform it. Do not just be overwhelmed by problems. Always think in solution terms. Okay, that's the problem. So what is the solution? Half of the time is understand the problem. Half of the time or more you fix it. Think in problem solution terms. Be brave and deal with evil. Transform the evil around you. Use techniques to heal your thoughts and emotions because we're all born from, developed through this evil collecting negative programming. We have traumas and dramas from our childhood through our life that affect our self-awareness and behavior. Should work through them. Acknowledge good things around you. So step by step, we sort of add, we acknowledge the good things around us. That's why we focus on the good things around us, and we then gravitate. By acknowledging them, we invite more and more of them into our life. We should not dive and just to. We should not draw in negativity. It can be really heavy. And can you lose yourself in negativity? We should not lose ourselves in negativity. However tough is it. Treat yourself and others with love. Be kind to people around you. Stay positive. Instead of saying we can't understand each other, say we can. Just, just try to change your language a bit. Saying instead of telling your kids you can't make it, tell them you can. Encourage people and kids around you. Acknowledge good things happening around you. We used to ignore all the good things, so like they just granted to given. Concentrate on bad things, and that's part of negative programming. Let's concentrate on good things. We're not used to acknowledging some cultures, not used to acknowledging good things happening around them and people being nice to them. Let's acknowledge all of that. By acknowledging, we invite more and more of that into life. We encourage different behavior in reality. Think positive. Believe in the impossible. Expect the unexpected, yes? We want to change the reality. We want different reality. We need to believe in it. What else do we have? Ethics and code of conduct is not described yet. Yeah. So we expect good manners, common sense, good character. We unite all those divided back into a state of cooperation. Unite all those people. Right, so what's the next? So we finished with how we are going to move story. The last one is who are we? Okay, the last part we'll talk about is who are we? The current state. Uh, it's not it's not much to be said. I do not have much to say, but let's cover some bits of it. I think it's the last one because it's not very important. Who are we? After birth, we find ourselves in a human body in a family, genetically similar to our ancestors, belonging to a race, an ethnic group, cultural context, with language, fairy tales, customs, social relationship patterns. On a land, usually within a government framework and laws, with or without a choice of religion or belief system, in a world with good and evil, different life forms and things we don't understand. So we're born into this world, and from the childhood we start learning, experiencing this world. We accept and adapt to a belief system, build our reactions, and develop a mindset and a worldview. A lot of people are very much limited in their perception of the world. But some people benefit from the internet and access to different resources. Those especially who speak English language, in English speak internet, there is a lot of information. So our context is wider now. Those who have access to English internet. We should be honest with ourselves to acknowledge that we partially support the traumatic world we live in now. It's a difficult statement again for many, but as we're born through this in this world and we grew up through this environment, we inherited some traits, many traits from this world, some behavioral patterns. People tend to think very good about themselves, but the truth is, we're very much part of the world. Even most spiritual people that tried really hard, they're still part of this world. Some people have jobs that are socially useless, some even harmful. Some businesses have no social value but only greedy profits in mind. We all pay taxes, and governments controlled by globalists spend them usually not in the public interest. So we're all guilty, partially guilty in uh, the bad things that happen with us and around us. Many people want to treat everyone with due respect, but not many are successful at it. Many of us have good intentions, but once we try to live and execute it, I mean, to do something according to these intentions, sometimes we fail, or we usually fail, because negative collective consciousness that is programmed and it affects how easy it is to do bad things. It's easier to do than good things because collective consciousness is programmed for conflict and for bad things to happen. And it's really that's why so many people want to finish bad habits, stop bad habits, learn new good habits, treat people well, respect people, and do something good. But they quite many times they fail. Sometimes they fail literally, just admitting that they failed. They cannot, stop that bad habit. They fail to have a nice conversation with their family member. They got angry. They got frustrated. Some people they don't even understand that they failed. They think they pursued the best interest and over 10, 20, 30 years and then of life they can figure out that it's all bollocks and bullshit. They were just following wrong advice and they've done more harm than good. There are many groups of people with parasitic consciousness who want to conquer others with force and make others slaves. So we're living in the dark times, and let's be clear that many people deliberately chosen to be on the evil side. Some people are tricked, sometimes are pushed to follow the evil agenda, but some people deliberately made a choice to have all the privileges the dark side offers and all the harm and cause the suffering for people around them. There are also many symbiotic, friendly mindsets for people to hold. There is an interaction of good and evil that touches everything. Every day we decide what to do, right or wrong, learn or not, do good or evil, and we can decide which team to join. Well, we part three. Okay, so who are we? Part three. I'll briefly read through it. So it's general knowledge, some basic facts. I think there's hard to disagree on many of these, but we'll just put it here for convenience, for some basic agreement. We are created by the ultimate creator of the universe, or God. We can't understand the creation in full, and there are many things which exist beyond our comprehension. There are invisible dimensions of the creation, space of mind and spirit. There are universal laws of creation and life that regulate our well being, life, regulate our beings. There is time and there are time cycles of day and night, summer and winter. There is a concept of inhaling and exhaling of absolute. There is life and death, start and end. We can see many stars, constellations, and galaxies in the sky that probably are similar to ours. Most likely, there are many sentient life forms inhabiting other stars and planets. There are many life forms, sentient and non sentient beings. We have a soul. The soul is immortal. The soul is a self aware consciousness. Soul inhabits a biological body for a limited amount of time. Our body belongs to the biological life form. This life form has racial identity and ethnic identity. Biological body has DNA that connects an individual with a biological species, mastermind, or collective consciousness. We are connected to a collective consciousness that influences us a lot. We also influence it a bit. Thoughts and intentions have power. Humans have soul, spirit, body, mind, emotion, thoughts, focus, intentions, and intuition. But we came to an end. I explained the concept as best as I can about First Alliance platform. You know now who are we? Where are we now? What's the perception? Where do we want to be? The desired set. Where do we want to be? Who do we want to be? How are we going to move? I hope I explained it in enough details to get you interested to understand. So this is not to understand that this is definitely not for you. Right, and for those who are interested, those who became interested, want to give an example, brief description of how the leadership, what would be the leadership path based on all the information you had and all the perception of our path to be. So the next slide will be leadership path. To have it be it more practical and more clear, let's say we have a single person, a potential leader sitting at home, and reading this on his or her laptop. A sample development trajectory for this person would be, I'll just describe it. So we must have leaders. Without leaders, we have nothing. We have thousands of followers, have thousands of supporters, and they have nothing to support, so we're done. We must have a leader, and we must have people who can support the leader. So, like, so what this leader would do personally, the leader should stand up and stop all the bad habits, become healthy spiritually and physically, improve the mental and emotional state, start spiritual development, learn to listen to intuition, detach from negative programs, and live by heart. Next thing to do is constant self education, learn diplomacy, communication, public speaking, leadership, real history, etc. Spiritual teaching, history of civilizations, religions. On the family aspect, this leader should, or must get to know all your parents, kids, brothers, sisters, grandparents. Establish regular communication among all the family can get together and reach out. Yeah, try your best. There's important context. That's how we get back to power. Get ready to get married if you're not married yet, or get married and have 3 kids or more. Yeah, it's your family mission. Can't ignore it. It's very important. We need to produce. We need to reproduce. It's basic function of life. And if you're old enough, then help with grandchildren. Next point, friends and community. Next thing, you open the door, look at your neighbors, establish good relationship with friends and acquaintances. First, build informally, build a community around you through art activities, sports, looking after kids, any local projects of local value. Yes, first do it informally. Because many people are not ready for big events, many people are not ready for big commitments, but still, slowly, step by step, you can informally build people around you. Yes, you can feel this dynamic of unity starting from small steps. Then you can formally build community around you, engage people into coordinated activities, local political influence, business, uh, local businesses, local government organizations, school, hospitals. You can start saying what you think and what you want, because all these structures should have our opinion, should account our opinion, and depend on it. Police, lawmaking, legal. Do not be afraid. Just try to reach all these people, all this organization, respectfully. Explain them what you want, what you like, and what you don't like. But another leadership, the next step would be to build a more structured organization, hold meetings with people who support this vision. Let me jump and refresh the knowledge. Let me refresh the basic principles. We need people who cannot ignore the suffering, those who want happiness for their people, so they will not stop until all the people around them are happy. Those who believe we can only solve problems together on high scale social value. So people will not stop until we reach the high scale social level, country level, national level. They will not stop, these leaders. Any person or group who wants to build a friendly world, the people will not stop until we have evil in our world. Someone who has time and energy on a weekly basis to spend. So these people have time, they will find time, they know how to find time, they will not shy away. They say, this is time I can dedicate to this very important cause. These are the leaders. So these leaders are ready to take risks because it's if it was nice and easy journey, it would be accomplished already a long time ago. But because it is risky and dangerous, we're still at the point where we are. So we need people who are ready to take risks. Reasonable, should have a backup. They should have a community to help them. They should reasonable to this moment. I mean, there is no guarantee that everything and everyone will be all right. I think there is the opposite actually. But it's for those people who say, actually, I want to stand up for my values and seeking for people to support them with similar views so they can together influence the world in the direction they want and say that I would rather die. We need these leaders who would say, I would rather die than carry on living as is. So they cannot live as is. It's just wrong. They cannot just sit quiet They have to do something. They do not want to live like this. So these are the modern leaders ready to die for these values. I'm not afraid to say this because without these people, we will not see the change. We need people who are ready to die for, who are ready to die for what they stand. We need people who are ready, open to evolve and learn. We don't need leaders who know everything. We want people who change internally and learning. We expect them in the next step to hold meetings with people sharing the same values. And let's join this first alliance platform or similar platforms. So they need to hold meetings regularly that have four elements. All this to represent social classes unity and start a model of the future national state. Yes. So the idea is that on a small scale, just your local meeting with your neighbors or people in your city, in your town who share the same values, you build in a small scale the prototype of the future government. You have spiritual element. You just want to talk about books on morality, ethics, esoteric philosophy, history, psychology, sociology subjects. So you develop them yourself spiritually. You establish this context. You do not shy away. It's an important part. Talk about good and evil, truth and lies. Modern days spiritual warfare. You do something of art. Play music or sing karaoke. Some patriotic songs, just any good songs. Read poetry. Maybe draw a picture. Politics. Discuss social influence, petitions, charity, help in law enforcement. There are legal ways to join with law enforcement and stop the crime. It could be in your country. I don't know. It is. I know it exists in some countries. And basically, there are good people in law enforcement. You can just get in contact, find them, support them. That's how you're going to help. Educating law enforcement. There's also people that want to feel they're not alone to do the right thing, so you can help them with the education, just welcome them to a company, establish communication channel, building survival circles. Yeah, if situation is really tough, you have a war or conflict, and it's like almost there's a hot phase of something terrible happening. Yeah, just build a survival circle. Don't sit till the last moment. Talk about patriotism, especially with kids. Yeah, love of your nation, love of your people is called patriotism. It's a bright word, nationalism, patriotism. And you can also influence businesses who sell alcohol, tobacco, something bad, doing something wrong. Just go and have a chat to them. You can start small. Next element of the future government you're going to reproduce on a local scale is labor. Fix a shelf for a grandmother, for the old ladies on your street. Build something for kids to play outside the playground, maybe improve the playground. Put a painting on the wall. Optional. Media make the good parts of your community visible so as to find more brothers and sisters who are following the same ideas and lifestyle. It's not mandatory, but it's very important early days because we live in a media age, and for our movement or similar movement or ideas to take ground and to take on, to fly fast, find most important media, just you have to. It's good if you're ready to show your faces, yes, because it gives this feeling of reality. There are a lot of talking and not enough walking. If you actually say you're building communities, or this is a way you're following, you like interacting with the world around you, businesses, organizations, government, you back you up, you choose your leaders to influence politics, local or global. Just make a video. You get a lot of support. You'll meet groups like that. You'll join, exchange knowledge. And with this visibility, we can grow numbers much faster, yeah? And the next step will be build a community of 10 people, your local, then 100 people, 1,000 people, until the government lands, until we get millions of people. The last leadership pass, we do not stop. As I said, the modern leader does not stop until everyone is happy, feels responsibility for everyone. Next step, appoint leaders for different spheres such as education, law enforcement, etc. So once you grow numbers, thousands and more, you can choose yeah, you can actually produce some structure like who is doing what. um, Basically about building some structure once you get big numbers. And what next? Nationwide government scale duties. Once we reach that level, we need to establish a common vision and a single platform with all the large forces in the country. There are many different organizations, and we should have a conversation and join forces with all of them. Remember, divide and conquer. That's the evil approach. And for us, is unite and coordinate. Yeah, that's the opposite. Unite to fight back. We need to establish fair economy. Want to establish ethnical cultural centers and fix existing ones. We need to establish cultural centers like art, music, dancing, all the language, the books, the history, the traditions, everything. Establish belief system with temples and institutes, fixing and improving existing teachings. As I said, many belief systems, or all of them, are corrupt. They're also like they're not exclusive. They're not. They cannot avoid this good and evil, this fight. They cannot avoid it. They're also involved. So we need to you need to cleave the spiritual teaching from all evil interpretations and find connection with other spiritual teachings and belief systems and the religious groups. Establish and fix media channels. Yeah, in media channels are important because we can spread our ideas faster. Yeah, it's how ideas spread in society. We need to master that skill. If you're ready to open faces, make some videos, so that's great. Worldwide, next level, establish relationships with different ethnicities and followers of different religions, belief systems, while fixing existing ones. It's a big job to make a true union of nations, true union of religions and belief systems. Build a platform and say a respectable platform where we can exist, respect each other, and cooperate. So that's leadership path that one leader should go to the end, and other gonna get followers on the way that will support him. Leaders like this will eventually reach country level with their initiatives. Those who are ready to elect leaders and be led by them should join and support their leaders on the path above. Call for action. If you're interested and want to know more, please visit our website. For any questions and queries, email us. You can email us. So we should build a better world together. I want to give a brief state of our community. It's early days. I am gathering um, team little by little. We have about 10 informal members. So we do some bits here, have about 5 people doing media projects. I have uh, 2 people doing art project, and yeah, so far, and I have 2 people doing spiritual projects. So welcome to join. I'm myself doing community projects. I'm developing community myself. So that's early days to join, and I welcome anyone who read who likes the message that he just heard to join us and to move towards that direction together. So it's all about unity.